Hello everybody, welcome back to the Young Fan Podcast. Today I'm going to be doing my opening day predictions and preview for what I'm so excited for, the opening day of the League One campaign. Of course, the 2021-2022 campaign kicks off this Saturday. It's in touching distance. I'm so excited for it. I'm buzzing for it. Cannot wait for the start of the season, and I'm, just by talking about it, it's just hyping me up. It's getting me even more excited for it. So I'm really intrigued to see what's going to happen on the opening day. Some huge games, some really interesting clashes, all 24 teams, take to the stage, if you like, and I'm absolutely buzzing for it. Also, can I just say a huge thank you for all of your support on the podcast recently. Since the next chapter dropped, since season 2 kicked off, the support on the podcast has been simply incredible. The subscribers, the likes, the lovely comments, just the support on it has been simply remarkable, and I just want to thank you all so much for that. And if you can continue doing that by hitting the subscribe button, by leaving a like, this new season's only going to get bigger and better, going up and down the country, to go into as many away games, many new stadiums as possible, as well as keeping the live stuff, keeping the match reaction, staying here in the studio as well, talking about League One, talking about everything around football really. If you're excited for it, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. It's free and easy, and it just helps the growth of the podcast. I thank you all so much. Anyway, that's the boring stuff. Let's get straight into it, and let's go for our first fixture of the opening day. And I'm going to go with Ipswich against Morecambe. Ipswich, who have been spending money, not a very nice fixture to start off for Morecambe, is it? They're back in League One. They got promoted last season from League Two. They're now in the league. Their first game of the season. You sort of, I guess, if you've just been promoted, you're hoping for a home game, a home game against maybe a team that's also been promoted, or a team that maybe might be predicted to come sort of mid-table. But an away game, going to Ipswich, who have been spending money, who look very good, who have just been splashing the cash, and also as well bringing in some really good players, not all for cash, but also bringing in great recruitment as well, and sort of rebuilding, new ownership. It's the manager's first summer transfer window. He's trying to give his sort of stamp on the season, stamp on this squad. It's not a nice start, is it, for Morecambe? And I predicted them to finish bottom of the league in my predictions. And again, as against a side like Ipswich, I think I predicted them third. I think even second. I think they definitely will get promotion. Maybe playoffs, definitely. Maybe promotion guaranteed. I'm not entirely sure there. But either way, it's a really difficult fixture for Morecambe. Ipswich look very good, and I think it might just be too much of a difficult task for Morecambe. And in that case, I think Ipswich will beat them quite comfortably. So I've gone with 3-0 to Ipswich on the opening day. I'm sorry, Morecambe fans, but Ipswich, they're looking very good. They've had a great summer, and against a side that have just been promoted away from home, the home advantage as well, it just seems a little bit too difficult, in my opinion, for Morecambe. But I think Ipswich will probably do the job pretty comfortably, I'd say. Next up then, we've got Doncaster against AFC Wimbledon. I think this could be quite a tight game. Both teams have added their squad in the summer. Generally, I think it's going to be quite a close, quite tough, rough encounter between two sides. I did predict AFC Wimbledon to get relegated. That didn't go down too well. I do apologise for that. And I think Doncaster, with that home advantage, they have now appointed a permanent manager. They have brought in some really good players. I think Doncaster will edge the game, not comfortably though. I think 2-1. I'm going with 2-1 to Doncaster against AFC Wimbledon. I think their home advantage will give them that extra edge. Fans back in the ground, of course. Yes, AFC Wimbledon, now we're seeing away fans come back in the ground, so that's exciting. But again, you do have that home advantage. There's going to be more Doncaster fans. There will be AFC Wimbledon fans. Again, I think Doncaster have got a better squad than Wimbledon on the opening day. Quite a tough, close game, but I'm edging towards Doncaster in this one. Next then, we've got Shrewsbury against Burton Albion. Again, Burton have really recruited really well. Some really good players coming in. A really good summer transfer window. Some great additions to the squad. They look really good going into this game. However, they're away from home against a Shrewsbury side that are generally and historically quite difficult to beat. Again, I know as an Oxford Utd fan, we went there last season. We were 2-0 down in the end. I think we came back. We did come back and win the game 3-2, which proved pivotal in our playoff push. But Shrewsbury are a very difficult team. Defensively, I know I've just given an example of a 3-2 loss for them there, but defensively, historically, they've got a good defence. And again, in this game as well, at home with fans back in the ground, it's going to be quite difficult for Burton. So for me, it was between a draw, because I think Burton have got a better squad. I think they've had a better window, and I think it's going to come down again to who's better on the day, who's going to start off the season, maybe who's had a better pre-season. In the first game as well, you're going to see that sort of pre-season, who's got the best match fitness, who's really looking sharp for the start of the season. You'd hope most teams are. But I think between it was either a draw or it's going to be a Burton narrow win. And in the end, I've edged towards that narrow win. And I think it is going to be 1-0 to Burton. That's what I've predicted. It's going to be quite a difficult game, quite a tight, close encounter again, like similar to Doncaster Wimbledon game. But in the end, I've edged towards 1-0 to Burton. So, yeah, that's what I've gone with there. But again, that really could go either way. And a draw, to me, probably sounds like the most obvious. But I think Burton might edge this one. Next up then we've got Bolton against MK Dons. Two sides again that have been very, very busy in the window, haven't they? Bolton, they now sort of, like I said, talk about the financial difficulty sort of slowly clearing up off the pitch. They can now focus more on actually bringing players in and really sort of starting fresh after what was a really, really good campaign in League Two. They really should not have shouldn't have been going that low to League Two. The size of the club, the history of that football club, but they had to go to League Two. That was the position they had to go get themselves in. However, they're back now. They're back in League One, and they're not messing about. I think I predict them to finish mid-table. I don't think they've got to worry about getting relegated again because they've brought some good players in. There's a real project. There's a real rebuild happening at Bolton, and that excites me. They're playing against an MK Dons side again. Have just had their manager go. I think it's Russell Martin gone to Swansea City, so they're on the hunt for a new manager as of recording. That is not a great time to lose their manager. That will definitely upset pre-season preparations. That will definitely upset the start of the season preparations that are crucial in starting the season strong. They're crucial in a good campaign, having the right pre-season, having the right people around, tactically getting set up for the season and specifically for the first game of the season against Bolton, travelling to a really, really good ground, a really, really big ground with really good fans at Bolton. I'm not saying that MK Dons haven't got good fans, I just think going to their place with more Bolton fans in an away fixture, it's going to be really, really difficult. I think Bolton are going to win this game quite comfortably. I've gone with 2-0. MK Dons could shock, they could surprise us. They could be, could be a completely different mindset. But now even though they haven't got a manager and they have recruited well, but I think for me, Bolton, they have done really good business. They look a better squad in my opinion, MK Dons. I know that to upset MK Dons. I think I upset MK Dons every time I do a video like this because I just don't ever predict them or do anything that favours them. But I do think MK Dons have done really good business. I am excited to see what they can do. But I think in this situation, losing your manager and now Bolton, really recruiting well, that's why I've gone with 2-0 to them. Next then we've got Gillingham against Lincoln, another team, Lincoln, for completely different reasons, having upset preparations at the start of the season, specifically in pre-season. Obviously, Michael Appleton had to have emergency surgery, so he wasn't available for a large amount of pre-season. I don't exactly know if he's back now. I don't know. Lincoln fans, let me know if he is now back now for the start of the season. Either way, though, I've been really, really impressed with Lincoln City and the players they've brought in. Chris Maguire joins, and I know him very, very well from his time at Oxford United. He's an experienced winger. Even at 32, he really can produce moments of magic. And again, I look forward to seeing him now back. I know he's been in League One with Sunderland, but now really, at Lincoln being reunited with Michael Appleton, I think that could be a really, really good, clever signing from Lincoln City. They are playing against Gillingham, who again, historically, especially under the manager they've currently got, they really do try and make it difficult to beat. They really are quite a difficult team to break down, and they're always going to try. Gillingham historically, and especially like I said, this manager now, they're always going to try and make it really, really difficult. And going to their ground as well is so hard to get a result. I know we went there as an Oxford United at the start of last season. We lost the game really, really badly. They just blew us off the park, not because they were amazing, and not because we were awful, just because they just were really nitty gritty. They just wanted to and they just sort of battled their way through. And if you want it more, that's a ground that's going to be really difficult, and you really have to be at your best and really, really physical to get something from the game. I think Lincoln can do that with the players they've got, some exciting players they've brought in. I think they're going to be able to do that. So I've gone with 2-0 to Lincoln against Gillingham in this game. Next then we've got Fleetwood against Portsmouth, a team that have done, and Portsmouth being a team and Fleetwood I guess, but more Portsmouth are going to be favourites in this game. They are the bookies' favourites to beat Fleetwood, and they've done some good business, even though the manager, the Cowley brothers, have come out, or in particular Danny Cowley's come out and said that he's quite frustrated, quite annoyed, and he's sort of actually describing some of the business by some of these top clubs in League One as crazy. They still have managed to bring the players in. They still managed to bring some top quality additions into their squad. squad. A really disappointing campaign last year. They're going to want to be revenge. They're going to want to try and find revenge. They're going to want to try and get themselves back on track. They always want to be trying fighting for promotion. They always want to try and get themselves out of League One. They haven't been able to do it now for a few years, and now, of course, they're going to want to do it this season like no other. They're going to want to be pushing hard. They're playing against Fleetwood, who again are going to their grounds. Not going to be easy. It's going to be a difficult place to go. I just feel like the quality of Portsmouth will see them beat Fleetwood. I've gone with 3-1 there. And then we've got Wycombe, of course, relegated from the Championship last season. They play against Accrington Stanley, but it's at Wycombe. And again, Accrington had a really, really good season last year, didn't they? A really, really good campaign. Wycombe getting relegated. To be fair, it looked like they were going to get relegated after the first 20 games of the season. It looked like they were going to get relegated by January, but then they really picked it up in the Championship, really started playing some decent stuff, and in the end, it took, in the final day, didn't it? It went to the final day for them, of course, to confirmation of them being officially relegated. Impressed by Wycombe. I'm impressed by Wycombe's transfer business. So they've done some good stuff. They've got Akinfenwa back as well for a year. And again, I've been impressed with Accrington. I think they've done some really, really good stuff. And like a lot of teams, you do see teams now really bringing in the numbers of players and also just bringing in the good quality players as well, which is good. It makes a really, really competitive league. I just think, though, Wycombe will edge this game. I think they'll probably win this game 1-0. It may be more. I think might predict them, some people might predict them to win 2 or 3-0 because they've just been relegated and they were a Championship club last season. I won't go as far as that, but I think they will win the game, and I'm going to go with 1-0. Because Accrington as well are defensively very, very good 9 times out of 10. They have, again, last season they were very, very good defensively. Wycombe might struggle to break that down. Next up then, we've got Crewe versus Cheltenham. Of course, Cheltenham got promoted last season, and obviously Crewe got promoted the season before that, so it's their second season in League One now after being promoted from League Two. And again, they've kept hold of their main man, haven't they? Crewe, Charlie Kirk. He's staying, and I think they're going to win the game 1-0, quite frank. I think Cheltenham, I did predict them to get relegated. They have done some decent stuff in the market, as have Crewe. Just think Crewe, again, home game, home advantage. They're going to win the game. I'm going to go quite, not comfortably. 1-0 isn't very comfortable. But again, I feel like it won't be too much of an issue for Crewe. It might be quite a tight game, quite a tough encounter for both of these sides. But I think Crewe will come away with a win. I think Crewe will come away with that 1-0 victory. Next, then we've got Rotherham against Plymouth, and I'm going with 3-1 to Rotherham. Okay, they got relegated last season, but again, they've done some decent stuff. Only one player, I think, as of recording, I think they only brought one player in, but their squad still looks really, really nice. Plymouth, a team, I think I don't think I've upset more of a fan base than I did Plymouth after my predictions video. The comments were lovely, but the Plymouth fans, they were not happy. Okay, they were not happy with what I said about them being predicted. I didn't even predict them to get relegated. I just predicted them to come, I think it was 1 from relegation, which is sort of understandable why they'd be a little bit annoyed. But I did predict them to stay up, but they weren't happy with that. They were not happy with that. They thought that they'd done better business for me to predict them to finish higher. And maybe I am wrong. And maybe, again, like I know you know the players that you bring in better than I do. I see them on a screen. I look at the players they brought in. I sort of do a little bit of basic research about where they've gone and where they've come from, what their goal scoring records are, if they're strikers, what they are, if they're defenders, are they good defenders, have they been at teams that have generally had good defensive records, sort of some basic research on these players. But again, you know how they're going to fit your team. You watch their team. So again, I don't have too much to grandstand on there. I apologise, Plymouth fans, for upsetting the entirety of your fan base. But in this game, I'm going to upset them again, to be honest. So I say sorry, but I'm going to do it exactly again. I don't think they're going to beat Rotherham. I think it's going to be 3-1. I think Rotherham, again, like I said, they've been relegated, but again, they've still got a good enough squad, I think. They think they will go back up, if not definitely in that top 6. So I think they're going to beat Plymouth, I guess comfortably 3-1. But again, Plymouth going to Rotherham, it's not an easy start to the season, is it? You want an early start, you want a good start in League One, or in any league, but again, in a league where there's a lot of games in a short amount of time, 2 games a week most likely come the end of the season, or even 4 weeks of the season, it turns into two times a week, doesn't it? So it's going to be really difficult. You need a quick start, you need an early start, getting some results and getting some points on the board. Not easy for Plymouth going to Rotherham. I think Rotherham will beat them 3-1. Next up then, first of all, can I just say this game is massive. Sunderland against Wigan. And I mean, Wigan have nicked half of Sunderland's squad. So it's going to be like just Sunderland of last season against Sunderland of this season. It's sort of like quite a strange game. But again, Wigan have really brought in, okay, and I've got to applaud Wigan. They've just come out and brought in some fantastic players. However, and there's another however to this as well, a lot of people, again, have been quite critical of a few players that have left Sunderland that have now gone to Wigan, Max Power being one. Now, I always thought that Max Power, because every time he played Oxford, he just turned into just sort of an aggressive but annoying midfielder to play against, a really holding midfielder that would just win everything and just be a real force in that midfield. Apparently, last season he wasn't actually very good. So again, that's that. And again, you know your team better than I do, so not across the season if he's been very good. I just thought from against when I saw him play Max Power, he was just an idiot, and not an idiot in a bad way, but just a footballing idiot to play against, because he'd just win everything. He'd just be he's quite a dirty player, but he'd play for the badge. He's sort of that physical, powerful midfielder that you hate playing against. But either way, apparently he wasn't very, very good. Apparently at right back he was better, but apparently in that midfield where I think we're probably going to play him, he wasn't actually that great. So there we go. They have brought him, and I think, even though I do think for Wigan that is a decent signing, especially on a free transfer. But either way, maybe I got that judgment slightly wrong. And then, of course, Charlie Wick comes in, who, again, I think is a good signing. I'm not going to take that back either. I think a lot of people said that Charlie Wick isn't anything because he hasn't got Aidan McGeady, who got the majority of assists last season. That's why he scored 26 goals in League One. And again, I completely agree with that. I completely understand why that argument we put into play. I think McGeady got 16 assists last season, 26 goals from Charlie Wick. So obviously, the goals must have come from somewhere other than the 10 goals that he didn't assist. But I get what you mean. When you've got a player that gives the delivery and provides the service on the head or on the foot or towards Charlie Wick, either way, when you lose that source and you lose that lose that sort of source of providing that assist, providing the goal for Charlie Wick, or providing the chance for Charlie Wick to tuck away, obviously that's going to be really difficult. And when Wigan bring him in, you have to ask the question: have they got the service? Have they got the players to provide? Provide the opportunities for Charlie Wick to tuck away? That's going to be the question, and we're going to have got to answer that. They would have probably brought in players that can do that. They probably would have looked at Charlie Wick and said, look, the majority of his goals have come from McGeady's fantastic assists. But again, either way, he's a very, very good goal scorer. He does score goals. I think on a free transfer, there's a lot of teams looking at him. He's gone to Wigan. I think that shows something really, really important. And again, Sunderland, though, they have brought in some decent players. And I'm going to go with 1-1 in this game. I know it's the Stadium of Light. I know it's a really, really difficult place to go, and it's a huge stadium. Again, Wigan, they have brought players in, but still going to Sunderland is really, really tough, really, really difficult. And yes, they've lost players Sunderland. They have also brought some players and also kept hold of some good players as well. So I'm going to go with 1-1 in the game. Maybe Sunderland could edge it. I don't think Wigan will go there and win, but I think it's going to be a draw. It maybe could be a Sunderland win, but I'm going to go with a draw, being 1-1. And then the penultimate game, Cambridge against Oxford United. The University Derby, as some call it. I don't think anyone's called it that. And of course the Boat Race Derby. Again, no one's ever called it that either. And again, it's not even a local derby either, because a lot of people have this misconception that Oxford and Cambridge are literally sat next to each other. Apparently we're not. I'm not going to pretend like I know, and I definitely should know this. But I always thought that Cambridge were just down the road. They're not actually. They're actually quite a long way away. So it's going to be. It's an actual real away day fixture. Apparently it's like a 2 hour and a half drive. So there we go. But there you go. Geography clearly. Specifically local geography, not up to scratch there. But I've either way taken that away from it, irrelevant. I'm going to go with Oxford United win the game. I think Oxford United will win the game. I'm believing in the boys. I don't like predicting Oxford games. I don't like predicting Oxford games. I don't like predicting them in the league. I just don't like doing it, because I think I am a firm believer in jinx, even though it literally scientifically has no ways of working correctly. I do believe in it, because it always happens, doesn't it? You predict your team to do well. You say, yeah, they're going to win the game, and then they don't, and then you look like an idiot, and then you sort of go, you're so confident. But then you can be confident, you can believe in the players. I think the recruitment that Oxford United have done has been really, really good. I think Cambridge have just been promoted. Again, obviously Oxford have a better squad than Cambridge. I think we should win the game. I think we will win the game. That's why I'm going with 2-0, but it's not going to be easy. Oxford, historically, under Carl Robinson, haven't actually ever had great starts to the season. So we're desperate. Last season we went to Lincoln, a really quite difficult place to start our season. We lost the game 2-0. We want to go to Cambridge and we want to win the game. We want to start strong. We want to start in the right place. Start as we mean to go on, Oxford United. So please, can we beat Cambridge? Start the season with a bang. Beating Cambridge 2-0. That's what I want. Hopefully we can do it. I'm predicting Cambridge 0, Oxford United 2. But it's never... Oxford always make it difficult, don't they? So that's going to be quite interesting. But that's my prediction there. And then finally, another huge game, Charlton against Sheffield Wednesday. And I'm gone with 2-2 in this game. I think Charlton have brought some really, really good players in. Sean Clare being one. I know that player the most because he was at Oxford United. Not for long. We actually sent him out on loan in January. So I saw him half the season, but I still saw a really good player in there. And I think bringing him into Charlton, he's going to be a really good addition to their squad. They have also brought in some other players as well. And also as well, they generally did have a very, very good squad already there before the summer. And then Sheffield Wednesday, who, again, financial difficulties off the pitch, but still a really, really talented squad. I predicted to win the league. Again, I just think in this game, it's got a draw written all over it. Quite a high scoring draw that I'm feeling. I think both teams have that ability to score goals, but I also think they have that ability to be quite level pegging, quite a close game in that sense. It could be 0-0 as much as it could be 4-4, but I've gone with 2-2. I've gone in the middle. I think there's going to be 2-2, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's any other kind of draw. But I'm going with 2-2. It could go either way though. I think Charlton could go there and maybe just blow Sheffield Wednesday off the park. Maybe they're not as set as I think, or Sheffield Wednesday could go there and show that they're a Championship club last season. Charlton, even though you brought players in, we're still above you. You don't know how it's going to go. It's a prediction. I can't predict the future. Otherwise, I would have brought the lottery ticket, the winning lottery ticket to be specific. But either way, I'm going with 2-2. I think that's what it's going to be. That's my prediction. And again, I want to hear from you in the comments down below. If I predicted your team, maybe has it upset you? Have I made more of the Plymouth fan base upset, or any other fan bases? Please let me know. Again, please don't dislike it if I predicted your team to not do as well as you thought, because again, I can't predict the future. It's completely a prediction. I promise you. I'm nothing to do with match fixing. Please do let me know. Give your thoughts in the comments down below. Keep loving the subscribers. I do love the subscribers. I love everyone that subscribes to the podcast. Keep hitting that subscribe button and keep liking as well. Sort of a mix between liking, loving, and subscribers. It was a mix of all. Please do all of those things. I really do appreciate it. I've been Jack. This has been the Unfan Podcast. Take care. Stay safe. It's just around the corner, people. We can start to get really excited now for the League One campaign. This Saturday all kicks off at 3 p.m. 24 teams of League One are all starting off their campaign. I cannot wait for it. See you in a bit. Take care.